Hi everyone, Charlie Bush here again with another weekly update that I sent to council this past weekend, and now we're getting out the video version. I'm also here with
Joe Irvin, Assistant City Manager. I'd like to kick off this week, Charlie, share the good news of Coworking. They've signed a lease down on the east end of town. As you know, we were working with them to try to locate them downtown. They found a better deal for a startup business with a lower lease rate on the east end of town, but we're really happy to have them as a new business in town. And if you get a chance, stop by and check out their facility.
That's awesome. That's a great addition. Another one to the East Washington Street corridor. So it's just another step in a positive direction for the community and for them, and a really supportive piece for people who work remotely and are here in Sequim. Next up is the Legislative Action Conference. Mayor Smith, Deputy Mayor Ted Miller, Councilor Genevieve Starr, Karen Kuznick-Reese, our clerk, as well as Christina Nelson Gross and myself, our city attorney and myself, the city manager, went to Olympia a couple weeks ago. We heard from the governor, we heard from various key legislators, got updates on various bills, met with the Association of Washington Cities staff, lobbyists, and then had an opportunity to go up to the Capitol and meet with our legislators. We met with Senator Vandeweghe and our two representatives, Representatives Chapman and Theringer. We talked about our legislative priorities, and we were in a joint meeting with the cities of Port Townsend and Port Angeles, so we all worked together on this. We have a lot in common. We also talked with Senator Vandeweghe about the off Dungeness Channel Reservoir, and it's on a list now in the Senate for potential funding in their budget. But it's on a list with a total of $30 million in projects, and they need to get it down to 9. They're trying to match the governor's recommended budget of 9. So that's still going to be a process. It's still in the works, but it's being worked on right now by the consortium supporting that project, including our staff. So overall, a really good trip to Olympia, and we got a lot out of it, and it was worthwhile use of our time. We spent one night there, and now we're back. Joe.
Yeah, the next item I'd like to talk about is the request from the Olympic Peninsula Visitors Center asking that the city of Sequim endorse and approve a resolution that supports federal funding for Olympic National Park. As we all know, it's a really important asset, a natural asset in our backyard. Draws a lot of visitors from all around the world throughout the year. And we'll be bringing this forward to council near the end of March, early April to take a review.
Yeah, the park's a great amenity for quality of life, draws a lot of tourists to our community as well. So yeah, life without the park in its current form of existence is kind of hard to imagine, and certainly takes money to support all the infrastructure and programs that are offered there. So we're excited to take a look at that, and we'll see what the council has to say in terms of the resolution. Community inclusion. So you may recall a few weeks ago we had a discussion in the community about a hate crime that occurred at the school district, and the next steps on that. One of them that I offered was to convene a conversation or a series of conversations in the community to really talk about inclusion and to make sure that we are reinforcing and supporting being an open-minded, welcoming place. And so that is going to continue. The next step is we have a steering committee we're putting together in the next few weeks. We'll be having our first meeting, and then we'll be putting together a conversation, if not a series of conversations on this topic. So stay tuned on that. And next up, Joe?
Yeah, a while back, our Public Works Department started working with traffic consultant engineers to evaluate the synchronization of our traffic signals throughout town. And they conducted this light timing study. We've just received the draft report. City engineers and Public Works Director are taking a look at that, and we'll be bringing the recommendations and the draft report forward to City Council in late April, early May time period for Council to take a look at.
Great, thanks. Yeah, that's important to optimize that light timing so we can get the most out of the system out there without having to build new stuff. So definitely a cost-effective way to get the most out of the system and get people moving around as best we can. Next up, news from the police department. So the police department's been busy solving crimes, which is what we want them to do. When those things occur, they solved a commercial burglary of the Sprint store that led to the solving of 2 other commercial burglaries. This was back in January. It was covered in the newspaper. The other 2 burglaries were the Northwest Tobacco Emporium and the Sequim Smoke Shop. and that suspect who was arrested is a juvenile male. They also solved a significant quantity of mail thefts that had occurred in Port Angeles, out in the county, as well as in the city of Sequim. Officer Larson responded to a call by a resident near QFC reporting mail on the ground. And when he got there, there were 2 individuals in a vehicle that he contacted, and he was able to build a case that solved the thefts of 30 different residences. The adult male and female were both arrested and booked into Clallam County Jail, and they were charged with multiple felonies. They also investigated 4 auto thefts. At least 1 auto was stripped of some parts, and it's a case similar to several cases being investigated by the Port Angeles Police Department. We do certainly talk with our other police agencies in the region. There was 1 stolen vehicle. It appears to have been used to commit other crimes, such as theft and burglary, and all vehicles were abandoned shortly after they were stolen. We advise citizens to lock their valuables and to not leave keys or other valuables in their vehicles. I can tell you, as a runner in this community, I see a lot of valuables in cars that people just seem to leave there. And I know we're a small, quiet town, but these things do happen. I hope everybody will listen to the recommendation from the police department and put your stuff out of view and get it out of your car and lock your car. Joe.
Charlie, this is this week's drum beat winner. It goes out to our public works crew for their hard efforts during the winter weather storms that we had. We've had quite a bit amount of snowfall this year with freezing temperatures, and they've done a great job staying ahead of it, working throughout all hours of the day, keeping our roads clear and our sidewalks clear. So we're really happy and proud of them and appreciate the work they do. We did get some reports from our police department that the amount of traffic incidents outside the city limits as compared to inside the city limits was far less. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the proactive work that was done by our crew to keep the roads safe.
Yeah, for sure. They've been really proactive. I even noticed this morning it didn't happen to snow here in Sequim, but it might have, and they had put de-icer down. So kudos to the crews for doing such great work out there and keeping everyone safe and keeping us all moving around town. The Civic Center Plaza, we had some damage out there. We think it was from skateboarders to benches, as well as to the logo on our main sign. And the outcome from that is we are putting in some mitigation, some things that make it harder to skateboard on our plaza, and we're also looking at additional signage and enforcement. So that is how we're dealing with that, to try to minimize that possibly happening in the future. And of course, we're making repairs as well to things that were damaged. Joe.
Yeah, Charlie, I'm happy to report that the construction at Guy Cole Center is going really well. But last week, an important piece of public art was installed on the south side wall. The elk window is in. It looks wonderful. Again, the Arts Commission worked with local artist Millie Harrell to obtain that piece, and we appreciate her generosity and her donation to for the art window. It looks wonderful. Please stop by and take a look at it.
It's beautiful when you're in the building, and everybody hopefully will have an opportunity to get in there this spring and into the summer, and it'll be open for rent, and hopefully you'll be in there for events, but it really captures your attention when you're in that room. Beautiful, beautiful job of both the art as well as the installation was well done.
Yes.
So I'm going to be out on Thursday. I'll let the council know this on the 2nd of March. Our dog's having his teeth cleaned. I'm going to help my wife with that. And so he gets put to sleep for that, and we're going to be needing to travel out of town a bit to get that done. So Joe, last item.
Yeah, on February 17th, the senior leadership team met to discuss the 7 diagnostic questions. Really, they're questions that help us know when we're functioning at a high performance level. By answering these questions and discussing these questions, we're able to better align our service delivery method for implementing City Council priorities and goals that they recently adopted at their annual planning retreat.
Yeah, we looked at some charters for all of those goals, and the diagnostic questions really help us not only look at City Council priorities, but all of our services to really figure out what is high performance to us, how do we know if we're hitting the mark, and what is the mark. And in some cases, we may be exceeding the mark in areas that are less important and missing the mark in areas that are more important. So we're looking at, what are the ways that we can get better aligned with our customers And that just series of discussions we've just had really tees up a whole bunch of additional work and discussions that will be ongoing for the next couple of years. And you'll see us getting better and better at measuring our performance and determining whether we are getting better or not. We'll be able to measure those things and continue to make progress. So with that, that's our weekly update for the week. It's actually for last week. It's Monday the 27th, but this goes back to the week of Friday the 24th of February 2017. Thank you all for listening. Have a great week.
See you guys.